Hello, my name is Austin Vick here, and today I'm doing my presentation on Major League Baseball and the Cincinnati Reds. Major League Baseball is known as America's pastime. Major League Baseball has been played at the professional level since 1869. Major League Baseball is played from spring to fall and is a summer tradition for many Americans. The history of Major League Baseball is endless, and there have been hundreds of legends who have played throughout its history. Quick brief history. Like I mentioned, it's been played since 1869, and the first ever professional team was the Cincinnati Reds. In 1876, the American League was formed, and in 1901, the National League was formed. In 1903, both leagues merged to have the first ever World Series played, and it was played between the Boston Red Sox and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Until 2000, the leagues remained separate and even had different rules and commissioners. Here's a quick rundown of the MLB governance structure. So, at the very top, you have Rob Manfred. He's the commissioner. Kind of everything has to go through him first, like everything just goes through him. He's like the head guy. Right below him, you have the MB headquarters slash the central office. What they will do is scheduling for all 30 teams in the league, marketing the legal kind of compliance side of things, in-game replays, and international growth. Below that, you have the MBPA, or the Major League Baseball Player Association. They work in their own union, and they will do things such as discussing uh, salaries, rules about trades, free agents, retirement, and healthcare benefits. And then right below that, you have the CBA, or the Collective Bargaining Agreement. A pretty flat out way of saying or describing what the CBA is essentially just a rule creator for all things in the business side of baseball. So anything rule wise will always go through the MLB and the MLBPA as well as the CBA, and anything that's done is typically looked at every 5 years or so. Here's a quick rundown on the Reds governance structure. So Bob Castellini is the principal owner and the chairman of the team. While he is the principal of the team, he also leads an ownership group with other investors from the Cincinnati area. Below him is the president and CEO of the Reds, and that's actually his son, Nick Castellini. And then right below that is Nick Krall. Anything on the field pretty much goes through Krall initially. He'll handle things such as trades, draft contracts, scouting, and player development, as well as firing and hiring the coaching staff. Here's some Major League Baseball policies. The NBA has a very strict no steroid policy. Players are randomly assigned drug tests through the year, and they must take them. In 2023, the major leagues added a pitch clock, so when the pitcher steps on the mound, they will have 15 seconds to throw the ball or 20 seconds if there is a runner on base. Two Reds policies. They have a pretty strict policy for fans at the game. They must abstain from excessive intoxication, foul or abusive language, and throwing objects on the field. The Reds also have a team dress code for the clubhouse travel days and media day appearances. Here's some Major League Baseball sponsorships and deals. So their biggest sponsorships are pretty much Anheuser-Busch, which you can find any of their beers at pretty much all MLB stadiums. Gatorade is the official drink of the major leagues. Nike does all the jerseys, and then Chevrolet. Chevy actually has a little league thing that they got going on. And then their media deals are Fox. They actually just signed a $5 billion deal that runs through 2029. ESPN, which has Sunday Night Baseball, TBS, which usually does playoff games, and then Apple TV has exclusive rights to some games throughout the year on Fridays. The Red sponsorships and deals are Kroger. A couple years ago, the Reds had to start wearing patches of their sponsors on the side of the jersey. It's Kroger. PNC Bank's a big one. It's the official bank of the Reds. And then they also have the PNC Power Stacks in right center field. PNC helps out with a lot of community events that they do with the Reds. Some current events in the major leagues. Right now, the major leagues are trying to figure out a pretty big salary imbalance. There's a lot of pretty much just over the top teams being made right now. It's pretty much super teams, such as the Dodgers and the Yankees. So they're trying to fix that with the salary cap. And then the Oakland A's moved to Sacramento for a few years as they wait for their permanent home in Vegas to be built in a new stadium. They've been in Oakland since the 60s, early 70s. And then why did I choose the Cincinnati Reds? The Reds are my favorite team. I've been a diehard fan of the Reds since I can remember. The Reds have had a few ethical dilemmas. The biggest being former owner Marge Scott. She had a racism scandal in the 1990s when she was the owner. Um, Fun fact about the Cincinnati Reds, they changed their name in the 1950s to the Cincinnati Redlegs to not be associated with communism during the Cold War. The future. So the NBA is growing very fast globally and is focusing on faster gameplay to keep fans engaged. Right now, the Reds are rebuilding with young talent, aiming to bring back winning baseball. Right now, they have Elly De La Cruz and Matt McLain, who are seen as pretty electric. And then the MLB and the Reds are both rooted in tradition, but moving forward with the new times.